welcome to the show. This is the Inner Grove. Thanks for hopping on. Today we've got Samichpunch with us and Babypunch. A lot of punching going on. So welcome. Why don't you start by giving us an introduction, and let's start with Samichpunch.
Thanks, man. So yeah, I've been in DFK since really day one. Been super invested in it. Love the community. Been writing a lot of articles about it and just trying to learn as much as I can about the game. A lot of you might have seen some of my articles, and I've been, just trying to theory craft and help game craft and figure out more and more out about the game mechanics. So excited to talk about it today.
Awesome. Babypunch.
Babypunch. Yeah, so same as Samichpunch, we kind of jumped in roughly the same time. Love getting into the deep dive of some of these topics. So there's a lot of details, and you can theory craft a lot on DFK and the heroes and where the game's going to go from here. So that's kind of what we love doing is getting into the details of the questing and how the game's going to expand to other platforms and kind of what we can expect on a long-term outcome from this game. So yeah, we've been in the crypto space I kind of jumped in earlier this year. I know Samichpunch has been a little bit longer than I have, but we're kind of new to the crypto space. DeFi Kingdoms, we jumped on board luckily on that day one, and it's been a great experience.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start out, try and get you guys a little loosey-goosey here. So first question let's start with Samich and let's go to Baby. What are you most excited about in general about DeFi? Any topic?
Oh man, there's a lot I'm excited about, but right now, super excited about the expansion plans. I think that the way that they have gamified DeFi and overlaid it with this really cool old school RPG is just, I mean, it's awesome. This was my first foray into yield farming, and I've learned like so much about DeFi since. And I think that it's going to be revolutionary how many people are going to get into DeFi just because of DeFi Kingdoms, and especially as it expands onto other chains like AVAX.
Awesome. Baby?
Yeah, so honestly, what excites me most about this is first, the team that is behind it. I like to look at the financial benefit of DeFi Kingdoms. And in any good business, you really want to invest into the people. So that is how you can determine if a business is going to be successful, is their employees, who's at the helm of this company. And so the team is really top notch from what I can tell, just being in the AMAs, listening to Tango and Frisky and a lot of the developers. They really know what they're doing. They've thought 10 steps ahead on these expansions and thinking about hero leveling. I know they've been kind of slow on some of their release dates, but honestly, it's to their benefit. So they're making sure things are coming out right, and they're thinking far ahead. So the team is top notch, and I'm excited to see where we can take this thing financially. So most of us are in it for some gains. We want to be able to make some money, and that's where this game has to be able to lead to, is you've got to be able to see a return from your investment. And they've kind of hinted at that, is there's a high point of entry into this game, but they're not so much worried about the cost of entry. They're more concerned about the return on an investment, which I really enjoyed and like hearing from Frisky Fox on that point. So I'm excited to see where this thing can go financially. Like, are we going to be able to make some money on this game?
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, it's an interesting approach. So we'll see where we go. So that was the hype section. We're going to jump into the roundtable now. So first question, and this is just meant to, we want to deep dive on this. So without an additional system like combat. So right now, essentially, all we do is we have 2 quests open. We're gonna have gardening soon and mining to follow. So without an additional system outside of profession questing, does paying to level even make a lot of sense right now? And does keeping some heroes level 1 make more sense? What do we think?
You want to go first, Samich?
Yeah. So it's a like people always give me a hard time when I respond like this. Say I'm such an attorney, but I mean, it depends, right? And I think that answer depends is going to drastic quite a bit for people who have like 60 heroes and for people who have 5 heroes. One of the overarching issues is your access to and ability to have more Shvas runes, but assuming you have enough, I think that there is a very fine line that everyone's going to have to start, assuming you don't have like an enormous amount and just an unlimited amount of Shvas runes. Yeah, everyone's going to have to start making a call of, well, who am I leveling up? Let's say I've got a pool of 10 heroes and 5 Shvas runes. That's 1 level up for half of your hero pool. And then as I go from 2 to 3, you're going to need 10 just for that second level up.
Yeah, so at level
So
5, you're dropping 50 Shvas runes. It's trading for, let's say, 4 to 5 jewel. Let's say 4 jewel. So at level 5, which is not that far off, you need 50, which is essentially 200 jewel or approximately $1,200 to $1,300 right now. So if you got 10 heroes, it seems very unlikely you will have the economic capability to obtain that many Shva runes, to have the funds to do that. And then on top of that, and we've talked about this, Shvas rune drop rates aren't great. So, and the smaller hero pool you have, the worse that's going to be. So I don't know. This is hard, baby. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, you're obviously gonna at the beginning, you're gonna have to start to choose who you want to level. No one's gonna have enough runes unless you've got unlimited funds and you're buying up the market.
Okay,
But
well then let me stop you. What's your framework? So let's start with baby. Framework for making that decision. I have 10 heroes. How do I start making that decision?
so I can really only speak for myself and what I think. I'm not planning on buying Swash runes right now. I'm just questing, trying to accumulate as many as I can. Before leveling came into play, I was able to accumulate enough to where I could level several of my heroes. So at this point, I'm just going to see based on the drop rate right now, how many I can accumulate before gardening, mining comes out. And one aspect to kind of keep in mind is right now, we know class or profession genes are only, I guess not only, but really they're only getting runes when they do their aligned profession. So our gardeners and miners are just not obtaining any phosphorins.
By the way,
When
that to that point, sorry to cut you off, but just wanted to make sure we got this. I thought the doc said class aligned profession quests are 5x the benefit of Shvas rune drop rates, but I believe in all of my quests, I have never pulled 1 Shvas rune from an unaligned quest. Have either of you guys done that?
yeah, I have. I think that Hubert said it's like 0.2% with.
yeah,
So if I run a profession that for which I don't have the profession gene, it's like a 0.2% drop rate. So it's super rare. I mean, what an egg is like, it's not, what was an egg, 0.1 or is it 0.01? I forget, but I mean, it's low. It's a low rate to get a rune, but
Right.
you have a 5x chance. Yeah. If you run a profession for which you have the profession gene.
Okay, so
yeah.
Samich, framework though. I'd love to hear framework. I have 5 heroes. I have 3 heroes. How do I choose which one to level up?
Yeah, I actually was up super late last night leveling up heroes, trying to figure this out myself. And I think my approach is going to evolve, but it's like the issue is very real. I have like 60 heroes right now, and I'm definitely going to run out of Shvas runes very fast. And I even bought some. So what my general approach and kind of framework right now is I and the reason why I'm kind of like speculating about a few things. One, I'm speculating about combat coming out, and I'm also speculating about land and Frisky saying that you're gonna need to have heroes certain amount of leveled up heroes to access the land because they don't want just anybody to be able to, some whale to just who's not playing the game to just come in. So he's hinted towards needing leveled up heroes to be able to get in on that.
There's like a level gate to access lands, you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of leveling up heroes who I think are going to be good at PvP and combat and focusing, I'm definitely leveling up those guys first. I guess, sorry, let me take one step back. Gen Zeros are the first no matter what. Like those are the first ones I'm leveling up. Those are the guys I'm going to want to get level 100 before anybody. They're going to be, printing out Gen 1s, and the higher the level I can get them, the more I can do boosted summoning. So those are my first priority. Then I'm turning to guys with high rarity that I think are going to be good at PvP. And I think my last, like, there's probably a few more levels in between this, but my last one is just like my common profession farmers, aka my mass quest foragers and fishers, because I can still level those up like their profession skill a lot without needing to level them up. Leveling up it gives them some more stamina, but I mean, you're gonna have to hit 5 levels before you get enough stamina to run one more quest. So I think that's a ways out still. So
and to your point though, on getting it to level 5, let's say, and I know you've alluded to this, I think you've mentioned this before. Frisky's mentioned common basic classes. So archer, maybe they have an aligned profession on foraging, maybe they don't. Those are great. Like level 1 commons can be great profession farmers. So the problem I see with, hey, I'll get it to level 5, I get another run, is the return on that seems problematic, which is 1, 3, because it's 1 rune to 1 to 2, 2 to level. It's like, I forget what the exact amount is because there's it plateaus for a second, but I think it's like 6 or 7 runes. So you're out, what is that? 30 jewel, you're out $180 or $200 to get 1 common basic to level 5. And I don't know about you, but even on a line profession, if you look at the rewards of 1, I haven't done any analysis on this. I don't know if either of you have. One hero is not producing very lucrative rewards, even over a period of maybe 30 days questing 2.5 times a day. So again, are you saying, Samich, that we should or consider at least common basics, professional lined, consider leveling those? You're saying that? Above something maybe like an uncommon or a rare? Because I think intuitively, hey, level rares over uncommons or commons, level your highest rarity, level your highest advanced class. That's intuitive, I think. And then outside of that, you're saying there could be a case for prioritizing common basics. Is that fair?
yeah. I think but I think it's a luxury, right? I think leveling those up is kind of at the bottom of the list, and like that is a luxury of the rich and the deeper pockets for now, with runes the cost sitting where they are right now.
Okay.
Yeah, agreed. So you've got to prioritize. No, you're not going to be leveling your common farmers yet. I do see a case where that could be beneficial if you think of it in terms of those are your asset producing heroes right now. If you get them to level 5, they get an extra stamina or quest attempt, which could then ultimately bring you in more Shvas runes. So there is kind of a concept of get those to level 5, get the extra quests, maybe you start bringing in more Shvas runes down the road. But I don't think that is the priority. I think you first prioritize leveling up any hero that is rare or above, anyone that's going to scale in PvP. You want to be able to hit those stat bonuses ASAP. So as soon as you can hit the 5, 10, 15 mark, you get the additional stats based on the rarity. And I think those are going to benefit a lot more by focusing on the higher rarity and higher elite advanced classes, exalted classes. So
well, and that is a side question here, tangential but related to what you just said. Can we clarify? So here's a case study. So I leveled a rare priest, I think, and then I leveled a legendary something pirate or something. And the priest had like 3 stat improvement total. This is before Frisky's fix that just came out, so that might influence this. But then I did the legendary and I had 10 stat improvement. So can one of you clarify really quickly for listeners, is there a fixed what's the leveling algorithm? What should we expect? Is me getting 10 on a legendary and 2 on a rare, 3 on a rare weird? Is it pretty fixed? Is it, what are the deviations from that? Can we just break that down really quickly?
Yeah, that's just, I mean, that's just RNG. So your rarity of the rarity of your hero doesn't impact your roll rates. So as you know, when you level up, it'll roll through every single stat based off of primary stat growth. Then it rolls through each stat based off of secondary stat growths, and then the free +1 and the 2 Gaia's blessing. So that, and those are not impacted by the rarity of your hero. So that situation you just gave there is just bad RNG.
So you said stat growth. Doesn't rarity mean better stat growth or no?
No. So rarity, right now at least, it doesn't have any impact on that. And I'm not saying right now as in I know stuff's in the future, as I just that's not a feature. So what rarity will do is every 5 levels that you level up something higher than a common, that hero will get bonus stats. So like on the 5th level up, it'll get some extra bonus stats. Mythic's getting the most, and commons obviously getting nothing.
Got
But
it.
level 1, 2, 3, 4, those the difference between the stat growth. I mean, the stat growths are always the same, and then they're not getting anything extra until that 5th level.
Okay. Let's transition then. So why don't, if you're comfortable sharing, tell me how many heroes do each of you have? And then approximately, because there's probably not an exact amount, how many are you probably going to focus and say, I'm going to continue to level these. I'm going to eat the price of Shva runes, or whatever's going to happen. How many of your pool, what percent of your pool are you going to level? So if I have 10 heroes, am I leveling 1 hero? Am I leveling 2? So for each of you, what's that like?
So I currently have 45 heroes. So my drop rate seems like it has significantly dropped in drop rates for Shvas runes.
Although let's clarify, there's no official announcements that they've adjusted drop rates. Can we all agree on that? Is that true?
There's no announcement. Okay. So who knows? Maybe it's bad RNG on my side. So it very well could be. I've checked with several people and they're still getting runes. So I may have had some bad RNG on some of my heroes. But I think it's important to keep in mind, once gardening and mining come out, we have now the potential of getting Shvas runes from those quests as well. So
that's right.
Our drop count could potentially double here in the near future. So we're going to have to assess the situation when we have all 4 quests active and what is our pool of Shvas runes looking like. And then we can really make a good decision as far as how many heroes we're leveling. As of right now, I leveled 12 of my heroes, 12 of my best heroes that I have. And that was only because that's how many runes I didn't sell off. So I had 12 that I held on to level, and until gardening comes out, and it'll just be based on the drop rate. And when my heroes hit level 3, how many runes am I going to have at that time? If I'm in surplus of 12, then I will level my 12 and look to level a couple more. But
so you're saying right now, it sounds like you're level 12, you might increase that or grab some maybe when gardening comes out, but you're looking at a quarter of your pool leveling for now. But it sounds like based on drop rates I'm seeing, that's not a sustainable model if you're not planning on buying Shvas runes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Right now, I will not be able to continue that unless, like I said, I'm anticipating drop rates to double once the gardening and mining quests come out. So we're just going to have to see. It's hard to know. I may have made a bad decision in leveling that many heroes, but I had enough that I wanted to increase those and get them rolling. I didn't want them to just sit at full XP at level 1. Sure. I wanted their stamina bar their XP bar to reset, get that XP rolling again. And, if I wasted a couple runes, it's not the end of the world. So we'll see. I want to see how the drop rate looks once we have all 4 quests up and running.
Okay, awesome. Samich?
Yeah, and Baby makes a good point that as the gardening and miners are able to start to do their own profession, the aligned profession, that drop rates should double. Maybe not quite double. And we don't know exactly if it's going to be the same drop rate, because you can't send 50 people out mining at once. You can only send one, but so maybe the drop rate will increase. Mining will have a different drop rate. But I'm in the same boat. I kind of have, and I mentioned that hierarchy a little bit earlier, but I think what I'm going to eventually do is like create a flow chart that's just like, here's the priority. Like, do I have enough runes to level up my Gen Zeros? Boom, those are the first ones. Do I have enough runes to level up my rare, legendary, or mythic combat oriented ones? Then boom, those are my next one. And then it's going to go down the line to end up probably the bottom of the line being common profession questers that don't have an aligned primary class.
Sure. So right now, again, you said, I think, how many heroes do you have, and how many do you currently are you planning on leveling?
So I have like 55, and I have leveled up. I'd have to look again, but I think it's like in the high teens right now.
Okay. So again, that sounds approximately, let's say maybe 20%, 25%. So if you had a hero pool of 10, you would consider leveling 2 or 3. And if you had 5 heroes, maybe 1, maybe 2. Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think that's going to be driven largely by, your pool of runes, and like Babypunch, it feels like for me that my rate of rune drops is like way low right now. And I don't know why. It seemed like a lot higher last week. And so I'm pulling hardly any runes. So that well is definitely going to run dry here pretty soon.
Although, again, speculating here based on what both of you have called out, as we see gardening and mining come into the profession lineup, we're going to see Shvas runes hopefully drop more. I think that's fair to say. Like you said, it won't double because mining and gardening are capped on utility. You can't send 30 gardeners into the gardening area. So I think long term, though, if we're speculating, it sounds like Shvas runes prices will go down. Could we agree on that?
I think it's more complicated than that. It should, but at the same time, the usage and the consumption is going to go up, because once I hit 3,000 experience on my level 2 guy, I'm going to have to spend 2 runes to level him up. And so, yes, the rune rate should, let's just say, double hypothetically, but consumption is also going to go up. So this is a very interesting like economics kind of model, and how it'll be interesting to see where it pans out, because it's unlike Gaia's tiers, which are just now completely flooded the system. Without some intervention, I don't know where that like major supply influx is going to come from.
Got it. And again, we might see him in combat. We don't know, right? We might see him in combat. Yeah. We might see him in other activities. But right now, it seems like the price of Shvas runes is very uncertain.
Yeah, and I'm totally just going out on a limb here and like theorizing, but it wouldn't surprise me. So like we're running level 0 fishing and foraging quests. They've hinted towards, I think Frisky mentioned Hubert having plans for like a level 10 of every profession quest, a level 20, every 10 levels having a new type of profession quest. And it wouldn't surprise me to see those rune drop rates go up every tier of quest. So there's so much unknown, and these guys have done such a great job. I'm sure they'll make sure that it makes sense, and that people are just like, they're not going to end up in a situation where people just can't ever feel like they level up because it's too expensive and it doesn't give an ROI.
Got it. Okay, we're going to move to Q&A real quick and then wrap. So, Baby, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Awesome. This question's for you. It's from OXUMR. What is the use case of gold? So can you just break down very quickly, what do you see gold as? What are you using gold for? General gold.
Yeah. Right now, we don't have a ton of information as far as what the use case of gold is right now. We can obviously see if we go to Zada in the shop or in the market, we can see the items we can buy. So there's the different potions. There's the
have you bought any of those, by the way?
I have not. So I'd love to get an egg, but that's probably far down the road if I can ever get there. So we don't, just like the items that we have that we're holding on to, we don't know a ton of the use case yet. We know there will be use case for them in crafting crafting items. So right now, gold is just another resource commodity in the game. We know it will have utility. We also know, in addition to the jewel mines questing, there's also going to be gold mines. So there's going to be a big use case for it. We don't know exactly what it is. That hasn't been revealed yet, but it's going to be part of questing. You're going to accumulate gold through the mines. You can accumulate gold through buying, through using your jewel, or you can sell your items that you're accumulating in your quest. So as far as what the outcome of gold is in the game, we just don't really know yet. They haven't really broke that down to us, but it's going to be big. It'll be a big aspect. They didn't want jewel to be the only valuable resource in the game, or commodity in the game. So they wanted gold to be in there to differentiate from the price of jewel, to make something a little bit that didn't track the same as gold or as jewel price.
Got it. Awesome. Thank you, baby. Okay, Sam, it's just one's for you. It's from Win W39, or excuse me, Win 139. How will leveling up, and this is interesting, how will leveling up impact the floor prices of heroes?
That is an interesting question.
Loaded.
So, at a very basic level, initial reaction would be like, well, if we continue to see Shvas runes hovering around 4 to 5 jewel, like, and someone's selling a level 2 hero, my initial expectation would be that hero is going to be at least 4 to 5 jewel more expensive than an equivalent level 1 hero. That's how a seller would think about it. Whether the market actually appreciates that, I don't know that that's actually going to translate fully into.
Here's another angle though. Let's say we're 10 levels in, so most people have at least one level 10. Buying a level 1 might seem essentially worthless, because maybe there's gated quests, like you said, you're gated from lands. Let's say there's no new, much more desirable quests. And so, of course, everyone's going to pay a premium for these, but does the floor price stay static on quote unquote worthless, basic, common level 1s?
No, I think it'll go down, and for the reasons you mentioned. There's going to be, I mean, the hero count is, we're at what, like 60, we're approaching 65,000 heroes. Yep. We were at, 40,000 not that long ago. And unless the player count continues at the same velocity, then the floor price has to go down. So I think, because, and this has definitely been the case with me in like pretty much any game I played, time is money, right? Time is super valuable. And if you have a level 5 hero, level 10 hero, those are going to be super valuable, especially if there's, and there are going to be, at least for professions, and I'm sure it's going to be the same with combat and like your actual hero level, but there will be, gates where like you have to be a certain level to run these quests. And somebody new, let's just say like some whale comes in with tens of thousands of dollars and wants to get in the game. He's not going to want to buy level 1 heroes and grind out 5-10 levels so that he can run that one combat quest. He's gonna be like, get me the level 10 hero. Like, what does it cost? Like an extra 100 jewel? Fine, done. I'm in. And that's, I think, as you see more and more of that, you're going to see only the smaller wallets that are interested in those level 1 commons, and so that floor price, I think, will shift downwards.
Awesome, great, thank you both. That was perfect. So let's go to wrap. So last question for both of you. We're going to try and end every episode doing this. On a scale of 1 to 10, bearish or bullish, 1 to 10 on DeFi and what it's doing right now. Let's start with Sandwich and we'll go to Baby. 1 to 10.
Let's see. 1 to 10, 10 being bullish.
10 being bullish. Like, let's go. This thing's going to the moon.
Yeah. I'm super high on the bullish meter, so I'm gonna go with like a a 9. And I would say the only thing keeping me from being max bullish is just the crypto markets in general. But that's, I guess, not very hard to hold that against the project.
Got it. Okay. So Sandwich a 9, baby.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, but then I want to give a little bit of explanation. So I think I'm super bullish on the project. I'm going to say about an 8. And the reason is I want to be able to see what the return on our investment is going to be. So if the entry to level into the game is $1,000 for a basic hero, you've got to be able to equivalent that to a return. So I just want to see when quests are out and where this game is kind of settled and stabilized. How long is it going to take you to actually get a return on that investment? So I think of things very much in the number side. And so I want to see where this all pans out. Can this reach mass adoption? And it really is going to depend on what the return on your investment is going to be in this game. So people aren't going to throw tens of thousands of dollars just to play this game. That's not going to be the case. People are going to throw tens of thousands of dollars if they can see a return on their investment. And so I want to see, and they've hinted at that as, we're not worried about the entry level. We want to see a return on people's investment. So I'm hopeful, super bullish. I just want to see where that kind of stabilizes.
Yeah, I'm going to add something to that. If you bought one hero right now, the floor price, I think right now is 40-ish. So that's $240. I don't know if I'm sure that we could look at some data. The return has to be forever. Like I'm trying to think, I'm like, if you're getting 2 bloaters a pop, bloaters are like a couple cents. That's going to be a long road to return. So I don't know. I don't know if that's favorable. I don't know if that's something you'd want to buy just from a purely financial position. So certainly, like you said, they're producing more content. Hopefully the return will increase. But I guess we'll see. So yeah, it's an interesting. Well, that is, oh yeah, Sandwich, please.
Well, I should say one additional thing on that, and I think that's what makes some of the greatest games as great as they are, is you have this big element of loot and RNG. And yes, if you're pulling bloaters, the ROI on a 40 jewel hero, if you're just pulling bloaters, is like a lifetime. It's going to take you forever to pay that off. But like if you pull a gray egg or a blue egg, it's like boom, you just 5x the cost of your hero, and then a Shvas rune, that's 5 jewel right there. So there's always going to be this element of like, yeah, if you have the worst RNG, it's the same with summoning too. If you have terrible RNG, you might have to sell your hero that you just summoned for less than you paid for it. And that's just an aspect of the game. But then you also have this chance for like some really high and rare drops, and that's kind of exciting.
Yeah,
and
so definitely some upside.
Yeah. And then gardening and mining are going to be the first quests that come out where you're actually going to be able to start earning jewel. So that's going to change the ROI scale a bit.
Well, I would say to our listeners, tune in next time. We're going to have Sandwich, Baby, and who knows who else break down what mining and gardening are going to do and how to optimize that. So we're excited, and thanks for tuning in, and thanks for coming to the Inner Grove. Thanks, Sandwich, and thanks, Baby.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, guys.
All right, bye-bye.